Hi, Deborah Leanne here with one of the graces that showed up in my life this week, and I wanted to share it with you in the hopes that it might provide some solace for you. A reading of the poem Still Possible by poet and writer David Whyte. It is still possible to be kind to yourself, to drop constraints and fall often to your knees. It's not too late now to bow to what beckons, the world still swimming around you as you kneel, transfigured by what sweeps on. It's still possible to leave every fearful former self in the wake of newly heard words issuing from an astonished mouth. It's still possible to feel your body as fully here and fully you, but not quite your own. To find you can live both entirely as yourself and in the lovely, anonymous multitude of elements around you. That you have always been a brother and sister to the clouds beyond the window, or have lived your secret unspoken marriage with the pale blue sky for more years than you could ever remember. And that you have always been proud to be, through all your difficulties, a loyal companion and friend to the foaming tide, coming and going, appearing and disappearing with you and for you, day after day on the ceaseless shore. It's still possible amongst all the never-ending movement to hold the necessary anchorage while having a mind for the long migration, to be ready to up and go and then surprisingly be gone. It's not too late to imagine that the days to come are the lost children you are still to bring to birth and bring to maturity, and that you are ready once more to be selfless on their behalf, setting them to rights when they fall, listening when they lose faith, being that mother or father who through all their difficulties gives the gift of constant witness. It's still possible to intuit a magnificent individual arrival that brings you still closer to the accompanying faraway crowd, to live bravely and always, as someone said, to the point of tears, to realize that you have always had your life shattered and your heart broken and your faith tested by loving too much and too often, and that all along it was never too much and never too often, and that you were never, ever fully broken. No, it's still possible to feel that spring is in the air, to intuit these days as pilgrim days, that these are mornings for setting out and setting off, early hours when new stories have already begun, mornings to understand that you are now living fully in some secret parallel where you can just as well go anywhere by going nowhere, when you can stay at home and find in any given hour or day, in the quiet kitchen, the just culmination of a practiced sincerity, when you can learn the daily minutiae of giving up and giving in, the beautiful but necessary fasting into submission, of resting through not doing, or not eating, or not hating, or not taking, or not judging too quickly, of learning how easily you can free yourself and how easily you can forget who needed to be impressed and who needed to be punished. And most of all, recounting who you needed to forgive so bravely for hurting you so deeply. Yes, to practice every day the difficult art of being proudly abstemious, but disarmingly generous, of learning to entertain the unsettling truth that from the very beginning, through all your difficulties, you have been learning to pass on every single thing you have ever earned and every single thing you never fully deserved back to those who have never found it in their power to receive. Yes, it's still possible not to hold so tightly to what you think is true, to bend your head and assume humility beneath the eaves of a still spreading sky, to feel in the rain upon your upturned face how you have always been friends with the distant horizon, no matter how far and how faint its call. Yes, it's still possible to be a soul on its way to a beautiful, beckoning, and bountiful somewhere, looking for the gift you will bring back to the time of your birth, so that you can start living again from the very first moment you came into this life, but this time with the cleaner, earned simplicity of knowing what it has taken for you so long to learn, to ask for forgiveness by being forgiveness, to live more generously by greeting yourself more generously, and then to dance more bravely, to speak more suddenly and with a free heart, to undo as you go all you do wrong, and to right the wronged and unsettle the self-righteous, sharing the secret to happiness with everyone. Yes, oh yes, it's still possible to taste the natural God-given sweetness in every cloud in the sky, in every little you eat, in every breath that you take, in every hand that you touch, in every day that you wake, in every tear that you shed, in every voice still waiting to call you, in every once solid, immovable door now calling you through, and in every single blessed moment turning to the next. It's still possible to fully understand you have always been the place where the miracle has happened, that you have been since your birth, the bread given and the wine lifted, the change witnessed and the change itself, that you have been all along a goodness that can continue to be a goodness to itself. It's still possible in the end to realize why you are here and why you have endured and why you might have suffered so much, so that in the end you could witness love, miraculously arriving from nowhere, crossing bravely as it does out of darkness, from that great and empty and spacious stillness inside you to the simple, light-filled life of being said. Thank you, David Whyte, for your beautiful healing words, and for you for listening. Thanks be.